That one got me a little bit.
You and I are both.
All right, this is Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk a month ago on Israel. Okay.
Public eye, who's been as outspoken a defender of not every move Israel's taken in the war, but of Israel's right to defend itself and of the just backward awfulness that we've been seeing on college campuses and the backlash against American Jews, than yours truly. I mean, I have been at the pointy end of the spear on this, and
I completely agree with that.
And it was all heartfelt, and it remains heartfelt.
Yes.
However, my contention here is that some in the pro-Israel camp are so knee-jerk about calling you anti-Semitic or getting deeply offended if you say...
Look at how nervous he is already. See, I'm going to read into this now because of what Harrison Smith from InfoWars said. I'm going to read into this a bunch. Forgive me in advance. But yeah, he's jittery as fuck.
Anything that doesn't align with their...
You can't be America first and an Israel supporter. I'm sorry. They've dragged us into too much mud, dirt, murder, and blood. You cannot be America first and pro-Israel. You cannot be America first and pro-NATO. These things go against... It's time to go back to George Washington. No entangling alliances. We'll work with you. We'll trade with you. But when it comes to your foreign policy, you're on your own. No more empire.
Narrative that it undermines their own cause. And I have to tell you...
Hashtag Killmonger was right. Got to close it down.
I find it very irritating because I do feel like some of us have earned the right to have some credibility on the subject of Israel and don't want to be called those names.
Hey, Megyn, that's the fucking point we've been trying to make. I'm not mad at Megyn Kelly. I'm just mad in general today. It doesn't matter how much fucking yarmulke cock you suck. If you're not with them every fucking time, they will call you names and try to destroy you, maybe kill you. I don't know. Stop with this shit. But I've supported Israel so many times. They don't care. They don't give a shit. You are only useful to them as long as you give them their way. They are manipulative sociopaths. They are the bad guy. You didn't get called a name when you call Nazi Germany the bad guy. You don't get called a name when you call communist Russia the bad guy back during the Cold War. But boy, if you call Israel the bad guy, all of a sudden anti-Semitism. You don't think that's a manipulative fucking tactic to get you to shut your mouth when you're speaking the truth to the devil, to his face? What does that tell you? That's not your friend. If you have a friend who anytime you tell them they might not be doing the right thing, they go, well, then you've never been my friend and you hate me. That's not your buddy. You're in an abusive fucking relationship.
When we have some mild pushback on some of the overreaches, whether it's, whether they're winning or losing the propaganda war right now.
These people sit back and they wonder why Israel gets mad at them. And they get sad that Israel's mad at them because they've supported them 99.9% of the dead Palestinian bodies they've caused. But when they object to the 0.1%, Israel casts them aside. You know who doesn't worry about that and lives a very happy, healthy life? Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson just said, fuck it, I'm saying it. And then he made banger movies that made money and they couldn't deny him. And now he gets to live in honesty. He gets to speak his mind. He gets to enjoy his money and his family. Because he said, I'm not playing the game anymore.
My contention is they've begun to lose it. And I realize it's propaganda coming at us from Hamas, but their numbers have turned. Here in America, they've turned. Not so much with Republicans, a little bit with Republicans, but completely with the Democrat Party and with independents. They have shifted mightily from at least double digits highs to single digit lows now with when it comes to approval. And also, with respect to, you and I speculated about this at the Turning Point event.
Single digit support. So over 90% of the world is anti-Semitic. Let me tell you something. If over 90% of the world was anti the thing I was, I would go, maybe there's something wrong with the thing I am.
Whether the possibility of Jeffrey Epstein possibly being a Mossad agent or asset or affiliated with, that's been turned around on me too, to you must be anti-Semitic. What the hell? That's such bullshit. The same people who say you can criticize Israel, that's fine. We won't call you anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel. Now turn around immediately and say you're anti-Semitic for even raising that. I completely reject that. And
it's almost like these people are not your friend. They're full of shit. They're evil, and they want you dead if you're not in lockstep with them. By the way, Israel was never conservative. Israel would have been a Soviet client state. The kibbutzes, everything else like that, it was positively Soviet. We bribed them. We gave them shitloads of guns and money. We let Bugsy Siegel and Murder Inc. Traffic weapons into Israel so they could fight the Muslims. And then we traded that for Israel to be on our side. They've never shared a lot of values with the United States.
Raise this as a pushback against my friends on that particular strain of the aisle to watch it, because you don't want to alienate people who are openly your friends by going nuts in your crackdowns on mild pushback on anything related to Israel. Now you take it.
I'm so glad you brought this up, and I would second that, Megan. I think I have a bulletproof resume showing my defense.
Ooh, that doesn't age well.
Of Israel, both on campus, on social media, to great, let's just say mockery and scorn at times, because I believe it, right? I believe in the scriptural land rights given to Israel. I believe in...
You know what I believe in? They murdered my savior. And I had a conversation. My uncle's a much more pious man than I am. He knows a lot more about Christianity and shit. And I did ask him, I'm like, how do you, because he's an Israel supporter. I go, these fucking people murdered Christ. And he goes, yeah, but if they did us a favor, because if they hadn't, he couldn't have ascended and become, part of the triumvirate God. And I said, motherfucker, that ain't why they did it. Like, I don't care if it worked out in Christianity's favor. They didn't do it to help. They did it because they were fucking jealous. They did it because he was calling them out to their face. They did it because he said, I am the light, the way. I am the Messiah. And they said, we'll fix this motherfucker. And they assassinated him. And you're going to go, well, the Jews did us a favor because then he became, oh, yeah. That's why they did it. I don't buy that argument.
Fulfillment of prophecy. And again, I'm not a theologian, but I'm a Christian. My life was changed in Israel. The spiritual energy is so amazing there. I want them to win. I've said that repeatedly.
Go to Israel. Go to the place where the Jews killed your savior and see if it doesn't change you, I guess.
Same.
And however, Megan, you're hitting on something very potent.
Islam loves Jesus, by the way. Like, I look at who we choose as our enemies. We lap the balls of the people who killed Jesus Christ. And we say horrible, foul, terrible things about people who revere our Savior, just a step below the guy they think is their Savior, Muhammad. What is it? It's who are the three prophets of Islam? There's Muhammad, Jesus, and Isaiah, I want to say, are the three prophets of Islam. But like, these people love your Savior. They love Jesus Christ in Islam. They put fucking railroad spikes through his hands and feet in Judaism.
And important. Now, let me first say, I don't want to judge an entire group because there's been many people in the pro-Israel world that have been very sweet, very kind, very nuanced, very Charlie, you're with us. You don't have to agree all the time. However, and I will say this, the behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. I visit Israel and fight for it. And there's another article out in the...
They don't give a fuck. They think you're a dog. They think you're beneath them, goy. They don't give a shit. You can't lap enough of their asshole. Obey, dog.
Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, why are you... what am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here. Like, I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after a turning point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb?
The Jews could never let Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes link up. Like if Charlie Kirk became woke to this stuff, and let's say they went and did a podcast together, they couldn't allow that. They couldn't risk that. Those two sides of the right linking up. Dave Smith and Charlie Kirk being pals, they couldn't risk that.
But no, I am a bad person if I do this.
No, they don't really see you that much as a person. You're just a goy pig.
And I could go, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to.
Are you guys starting to think they killed him? Because I was rejecting that out of hand, and I was like, guys, come on, you're being I don't know. Because he was so on their side, like every single fucking time, and he was going to be on their side again. I just don't know if this is enough for them to take him out. I know he was highly influential.
Cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
Yeah.
So
and it's offensive. It's offensive to those of us who have been out there defending them in many instances against critics on our own side. And now you have a couple of comments like, well, what about this? Well, has it gone on too long? Like, is it time to wrap it up? And the thing about Epstein is just so bizarre. I don't know who he was an agent for. It might have been Israel or an asset, or it might have been nobody. Yeah. But we're allowed to speculate about that. It's there's some rule you can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first, period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation, okay?
That's right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported, and they're up against a sea of Islamic totalitarianism, and we should be cheering for them, right? Because they're up against barbarians and monsters, and we want them to win. However, here is Megyn Kelly.
It's not very nice to say about, I'm starting to realize this. That's not very nice to say about a religion that holds your savior in a really fucking high regard.
Charlie Kirk combined probably.
Leave them alone to celebrate their bullshit in the Middle East. Leave them alone. You know? The last time they took an offensive action was the days of Muhammad, when they were all about blood and conquest. I mean, I think we're all old enough to hear it now. I think we're all old enough to get the conversation. 9/11 was a counterattack in a war that we didn't know we were in because our elites didn't tell us that they'd been fighting it. 9/11 was a counterattack.
30 million social media followers, like pretty, right? And you and I have been holding this down, and you probably get the negative, oh, you're just shilling for Israel, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what's right regardless of the feedback, right? But then all of a sudden, like, I host a person that
you know what? I'm not saying they killed him, but I'm saying I'm not going to yell at you guys or deny you guys that opinion because he was starting to notice. Charlie was starting to break free. I mean, it can't be the trans. It can't be the lefties. It can't be. He had been shitting on them for a fucking decade. They knew who Charlie Kirk was. They had left him be. I mean, they called him all kinds of terrible names, but like, It's funny to me that Charlie Kirk was going after the transgender thing in the left wing in this country for 10 years, but it was only after he started to say, boy, I'm starting to notice that Israel, boy, they don't really give a shit if you support them or not. It's only when you criticize them that they really start to attack you. And then he gets shot in the throat.
I moderate the debate of my right? And I give equal time to Josh Hammer, equal time to a pro-Israel advocate.
And by the way, Josh Hammer came off like a stupid fucking dickhead in that debate with Dave Smith. And yeah, Charlie Kirk helped him out as much as he could.
And my moral character is being put into question. And so I think it's a hyper paranoid, like we're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice. But it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do.
Why do you think that is? Who do you exalt? Who do you worship? Without hesitation, with total bravery, openly. Jesus told you, you will be persecuted for following me. So why do you think that is, Charlie? Why do you think the opinion of a Jew and their critique of Israel is looked upon more favorably without threat than you, the Goyim, criticizing Israel? You're supposed to be their useful dog, boy.
And that's really, really weird, isn't it, Megan? That's not so right.
Wrong-headed. I'll tell you this for me. So I got some blowback after saying
Christians are treated by Zionist Jews the way that black sharecroppers were treated by plantation owners after the end of slavery.
Mossad possibilities with Epstein, a comment behind which I stand. I mean, I realize, and I've of course reported what Alan Dershowitz has said as his lawyer. He says, I think he would have told me. He didn't say he had any of those connections. I hear all that. That doesn't mean it's not true. I think all these things should be explored. It's one of the many things that should be explored around Epstein. But saying that, and also saying he might be a U.S. asset, et cetera, doesn't make you anti-Semitic. That's fucking crazy. And then
right.
We get to last week, I go on Piers.
You keep fucking around. I point out you're fucking around and I'm anti-Semitic. I would die. I would love it if I could go back to not giving a fuck about you. I don't care if you're a Jew. I couldn't fucking care less. Stop murdering people in my name. Stop molesting children and flying back to Tel Aviv. Stop fucking with me. That's all I give a shit about. I don't care if you turn your lights out on a Friday night and don't turn them on till Sunday. I don't give a shit. Eat a fucking potato pancake until you get until you're bloated from starch. I don't fucking care. Stop killing people and fucking with my name.
Piers Morgan, right? So I go on Piers Morgan last week. And I don't talk about Israel a lot on this show. I just like covering the day-to-day of a conflict like this is not my thing. It's not what we do here at the Megyn Kelly Show. We haven't done it for years.
All right, we got, I think we got enough of that one to kind of know what's up. I think that's a piece of the Charlie Kirk puzzle that we can put together based on that. Redbird with $1 says, you feel like you're going crazy. All the evidence tells you you're right, but the whole world tells you you're a pile of shit. It's fucking wild, right? It's hard to combat. It really is. I got another one here. $1 from Redbird again. Says, this is nothing new. We have been deliberately made to forget. Unpleasant Alex says, but Aaron praises Islam that is raping their way through all of white Europe. The enemy of my enemy isn't my friend. Stop bringing them to Europe. You think that's the Muslims' fault? They're just doing the shit they do. They come from a backwater third world shithole. Stop bringing them there. Stop welcoming them into countries they don't fucking belong to. You think Muslims just packed all their bags and left the fucking place they were born and just started coming here? They were brought here. This shit is by design. Leave them. That's why I said leave them in the fucking Middle East. Let them have it. It's an invasion, but it's an invasion by Westerners. It's organized. They're trying to take our birthright from us. Unpleasant Alex says it's the Muslims' fault. It's an invasion. It's not. Do you want to talk about who did it? I don't want to get into it today, but I know who's organized it. Let's just say they're one worlders. Let's just say they're NWO. Let's just say their last name is Soros. I don't want to get into it. Roots is giving me levity today. He says, Aaron having instant mashed potatoes in his pocket is the absolute funniest shit I will picture today. Papa Shop says they were definitely tapping his phones. I'm going to guess that Kirk was the ally they thought him to be. I think you mean not. Not the ally. Oh, they're not bringing them. They're showing up on the shore. I mean, if you think that, I don't. Okay, well then we just, I guess we agree to disagree. I believe they're being brought. Dusty Rhodes with $1 says, Aaron, you're the last Aaron, you're the last person talking about heavy starches. I guarantee you if I empty your pockets, I'm going to find 3 different types of candy and instant mashed potatoes, if you will, baby. Let me dispel this rumor right now. I do not have instant mashed potatoes in my pockets. Nay, I do not have any mashed potatoes in my pockets. Thank you very much. $75 away from today's goal. Thank you very much. I cannot complain a whit about what a great job you guys are doing today. If you want to help us finish off that $75, we do appreciate it. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, and Rumble Rants. Look, I don't like to brag about this show any more than I have to, but I have to brag about this show. As you're laughing your fucking balls off, I want to point out that for 4 hours, we have honored, dissected, and commented on Charlie Kirk and all things surrounding it, while I also address a rumor that I carry mashed potatoes in my pocket. Now, I say that to say this. Name me another program that can fucking do